You know, we're always told that buying a brand new sports car is one of the worst financial decisions you can possibly make. But what if there's a car, one of the most iconic sports cars in the world, the Porsche 911, that just completely breaks that rule? What if it's actually an asset?
So let's start with that fundamental question. When you think about buying a high-performance car, does your brain immediately scream, bad investment? A guaranteed way to lose a ton of money?
For almost every other car out there, the answer is a hard yes. I mean, the conventional wisdom is totally right. A sports car is a liability. A really, really fun one for sure, but it starts bleeding money the second you drive it off the lot. That huge drop in value, depreciation, that's just the price you pay for the thrill. Or is it?
Well, it turns out there's this really fascinating exception, a special little club of cars that seem to play by a totally different set of financial rules.
We're talking about something called an asset car. So what is that exactly? Well, think of it like this. It's a performance car where the value drops so incredibly slowly, the depreciation curve is almost flat, that it basically stops acting like a car and starts acting more like a place to, well, park your wealth.
And the absolute poster child for this whole idea, the undisputed king of the asset car, is the Porsche 911.
Okay, that's a huge claim, I know. So let's not just take my word for it. It's time to put the 11 to the test and look at the actual numbers in a head-to-head showdown. So, in one corner, we have our icon, the Porsche 911. And in the other corner, we've got two incredible rivals, the super powerful BMW M8 and the exotic R8. All three are amazing machines, but how do they really stack up when it comes to holding their value?
And here it is. Just look at the 5-year residual values. I mean, the difference is just staggering. The BMW M8 and Audi R8 dropped to 42 and 46% of their value, which is pretty typical, right? But the Porsche 911, it holds on to an incredible 58.9% of its original price. It is playing a completely different game. This is that asset car effect in action.
So this brings us to the million-dollar question, why? Why does the 911 do this? Well, the secret lies in a fascinating market dynamic that our source material calls Tacoma Math. And yep, that's a direct nod to the legendary resale value of the Toyota Tacoma truck.
So, what is this secret sauce? What are the special ingredients that create this financial magic for the 911, while its direct competitors just fall off a cliff like every other car? It really comes down to this simple 3-part formula. First, you have a limited supply. Porsche is super careful about not flooding the market with 911s. Second, you have a cult following. I'm talking a massive, passionate, multi-generational fan base that means demand is always there. And, well, what happens when you combine that rock-solid demand with a tight supply? You get the result. The value doesn't collapse. It's economics 101, really. When you start to see all these pieces together, it forces you to completely reframe what a sports car can even be. We're not just talking about a car anymore. We're talking about something more like a high-octane savings account. In fact, there's a quote from the source material that just nails it perfectly. It calls the 911 the only performance car that functions like a savings account. It's a bold thing to say, but as we just saw with the data, it really holds up.
So, what's the big takeaway here? The Porsche 911 has carved out this unique spot in the market that lets it become more than just a car. It's a genuine wealth storage device. It's an asset that you can actually enjoy, drive, and have fun with, all without that constant fear that its value is just vanishing into thin air.
And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. If a car can defy financial gravity this much, what other everyday luxuries out there, things like watches or handbags or other collectibles, might be smarter assets than we give them credit for? Definitely something to think about.